Hello, everyone, and welcome back to NLC Division 2. My name is Asher, and I'm together with N-Test for another day. Before we begin, I would like to apologize because my Windows did a weird update, and I know my microphone is not on the best of conditions. We're trying our best to make sure that it goes to those conditions, but we're failing hard. But welcome.
Yeah, I mean we're doing our absolute best, right? And actually, that's the classic, no? When you get Windows update, you just wanna put it on hold until like you can't put it on hold anymore, and then it just automatically updates, and it's for sure gonna screw something over on your computer. Anyways, guys, I'm Mtest. I'm gonna be joined with Arsham here today, as he mentioned, and I also have the biggest glass of ice cold water because in Sweden today it's like 35 degrees. It's absolutely crazy. So stay hydrated, guys.
35 degrees in
Okay, I'm
Sweden.
okay. I'm exaggerating a bit, but it feels. I swear, man, it feels so humid as well. Like it feels like 40 degrees. Like I'm actually dying in here.
Because it's really hot in Berlin, but I thought Sweden was a cold country.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It is really, a really cold country. That's why when it gets hot, I swear everyone is like out and cheering, but I can't breathe in this weather, man. Like it's impossible. You know the gamer vibes. We don't really like it too hot. So let's see if I survive the whole cast. Arsham's microphone maybe won't. Maybe I won't as well. And yeah, we're just gonna do our best.
Is it bad? Is it bad? Is it
No,
really bad?
now it's good actually. Now I hear nothing
Oh,
but your
please,
sweet
let's
voice.
leave it as it is and hope for the best today. Talking about the day of today, we have to begin with the games. If we can show these to everyone back at home, there we go. We're gonna start up with Lightside versus Rising Dawn Esports. It's going to be the first place versus the fourth one. Unique versus Monster Rugby Gaming, and so far Unique have been a surprisingly good team in Division Two. Then Lucent will do it with Garp at ninth place and eighth place. So this is at the bottom of the table, fighting against each other to try and climb through that summer split. London United will take a really hard gamble versus Raid Gaming that are in sixth position, while London is at last. And Domino will finish up the day in seventh place versus Natives that are currently on second place. Let's see if they're capable of taking down the Beast, the Giant Slayers. Is there any game you're excited to see?
Uh I mean I'm kind of looking at obviously gonna look at the Lundqvist Lightside game. I'm always down to watch these guys. They are my Swedish homies, although they only
Mm-hmm.
have one Swedish player on their team, which is a bit sad. But other than that, I'm kind of looking at the last game goes for me because all these teams, obviously with Lundqvist being the exception of that, they're kind of close in the standings, right? We have Natives being 5-2, Unique being 5-2 as well, Monster Rugby Rate, Rising Dawn being 4-3, and then Domino sitting there like kind of uncomfortable at 3-4. And if they cannot pull out with a victory today, they're gonna get further away from the competition. So I think the last game actually is gonna be so important for like Domino as well, you know. And Natives obviously they want to get to the top spot. They kind of they almost managed to win against Lundqvist, but didn't make so. And yeah, the last game is gonna be it for me, man.
And the most interesting part is until Rate Gaming, so sixth place, everyone is separated by one game alone. So even though you're looking into sixth place versus first one, if you take that one, you're really close to the first place. So Summer Split is being really interesting as we jump straight up into the Champions League. That you can see Lightside with only one defeat so far. They're just on top of the game, as someone I know would say. They're popping off as they're going to take card transaction. And on the other side is the Zeri, as we're used to by now, alongside with the Lilia, which means that Lucian is available and Moshox. I mean, he's kind of a dangerous AD carry, so be aware of that.
Yeah, I guess they could also. We haven't seen that much Lucian flex, right? But that's the thing about Div 2. You can't really know what to expect. You always get these maybe 3 or like 4 kind of meta picks, and then you always have this one weird pick that you don't know where it's gonna go. So might just have to see that one in this draft. Obviously, the farming junglers, the AP junglers being so oppressive in Div 2. We have seen them being banned as well in Division 1, but not as much as these. The cards, the Lilia, like being just the most powerful junglers. And now, as you mentioned, the Yumi getting banned as well. Lucian is open. Not gonna talk about the team, however, because I learned the hard way that we don't talk about hovers. Did you just assume that it's gonna be the Lucian, Arsho? Oh, Renata.
Renata straight off the bat. That means that he won't control over the enemy. Wukong is available. Vangstead is an amazing person, by the way, as I've said this multiple times. He knows what's up, and with the new skin coming in as well. It feels like a Chroma, but is actually a really good position. Pantheon is one of those champions that is not going to be picked, but it's one of those champions that you can build almost everything, and there's a new build appearing in the game, which is based on Trinity Force alongside with Conqueror, which gives you a lot of movement speed, a lot of sustained damage as well, because one W coming in from Pantheon is enough to stack up the entire Trinity Force and also the Conqueror. So that's a really good way to start up a fight. But teams are not aware of that IQ yet, so maybe in the future they start up with a big team fight potential. And in my opinion, if you're on the red side and if you see a first pick Renata, I would go for the team fight composition regardless, but I wouldn't bring someone that has a lot of auto attacks to make sure that even if you get possessed by Renata's ultimate, you would still not do any sort of damage to your own team. So what about spell?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think one thing as well is like I actually just started playing a lot of support, and I just love when people pick like a lot of melee champions into the Renata. And I'm kind of surprised to see that they just go for the Diana Rakan regardless of the Renata first pick, right? They're gonna answer with Viego and Espor, just two solid picks. We've seen Viego in Division 1 kind of being the filler pick. We heard Torok talk about it on broadcast as well, saying that Viego is actually the new Corki. If you pick this champ, you're gonna get punished by Excel. But looking at this draft, obviously we don't have Excel here, so they're not gonna get punished today for it, perhaps. And it's just gonna be the Yasuo. Oh, it's actually locked in. My bad. It's actually just gonna be the Diana Yasuo combo, the classic 1-2 punch coming from Radiant Dawn.
And you already have more than one knockup available. Diana will be able to do it, Rakan as well, and even Yasuo is capable of supporting himself with the Q. So that's more than enough to get 3 knockups. You can focus on anything else. You can play for the defensive bot line. You see the Ezreal, you see the Renata. It's not that aggressive, so you can bring someone that can farm and just stay by himself. Probably you can bring an Nautilus as well as a support for the Rising Dawn Espor to make sure that he can roam and support Fed ERL roams across the map to try and get some more advantage to Denzel. In the top line, you can bring something with more control as well. And if you look into the late game, maybe a Norn is not that far-fetched, which will allow you an additional lockup. So aside from Yasuo, you don't have a lot of champions that can auto-attack and kill your own team if you get the hostile takeover. You're going to take those control champions in the mid lane. Ornn is removed as well. I think they're listening to us. So hello, Lightside. No, I'm kidding. Callistus for the aggression as well in the beginning of the game. So what do you feel could pop in this red side?
Biggest one thing is that Radiant Dawn already like showed their cards, so they're for sure just gonna pick something that just goes in as well, right? Saya, not a champion they would typically say about this, right? But this just pairs up so well with the Rakan. This has been such a good combo for the whole existence of these two champions. And the thing I like about Lundqvist Lysa's combo is that they didn't really show any cards yet. Like they picked just 3 super versatile champions. They can kite, they can re-engage with the Viego, and now they have the 2 picks, final ones. And I just assume that it's gonna be probably a tank coming in from BC, considering that he is gonna be on that blind pick. But seeing the Sylas picked now, that shows a lot for Lundqvist Lysa. Now they kind of wanna, I feel like they kind of wanna go toe to toe with Radiant Dawn and then go for this engage comp as well. And looking at the last pick too, it obviously has to be some sort of tank, right? They have a lot of damage right now, but it needs someone that can like kind of sustain the damage for coming from the Diana Yasuo combo. Someone be able to tank it, and the Sejuani being locked in. This could get punished by Vangsted if I remember him correctly. He likes to play these carries.
It's on the top lane. The Sejuani keeps getting more window into that lane. It's not the easiest one to punish as well. You can go for something for the split push, or you can bring something for team fights as well. I just gotta say, if you do this sort of picks, you have a lot of AD and test, but really little AP.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, right? I think though,
Nasus?
Oh, wait, it's actually he locked it in. I thought it was a bait.
Susan has been picked.
Okay, so this is actually kind of different now from Radiant Dawn's comp. They had 4 champions that really likes to beat together and like play, just go for that all in, right? But now they also have the silent pressure with Nasus. I really hope this guy gets to scale for free, Vangsted, or he's gonna be really sad if he gets like punished early by Viego Sejuani, right? But pretty sure he's really confident in his matchup, and if he can be that oppressive silent pressure, then Radiant Dawn can like group up as 4 and still do really wonders with their comp.
They have a lot of CC on one side. The other one, we have complete chaos, and I like this chaos. Vangsted has thrived in chaos before. Ferry Irel will obviously play for the mid lane for Denzel. Now, do we get Jack's Plank special, where we just see Vangsted pushing on the side lanes, maybe even going for that hull breaker and to try and destroy BZ? because the idea of a Sejuani on the top side is mostly about playing for the team fights, not for the solo bolo. It's more about the team fight. So if you play for the split push, Vangstead might be able to just finish the game. And eventually, if you get the 1,000 stacks, I mean, you can play with your team fight because you are a team of your own.
Yeah, no, I mean that's true, right? I just really hope Banks at this game, I hope he realizes that if his team is not like super far ahead with Dawn, and they can just kind of smash every 5v5, I think it's really hard for him to actually like impact team fights before he has that dream of 1k stacks, right? I think he gets kited quite a lot with the Espor, Renata, obviously Syrian as well. I feel like they can just buy so much time. I really hope it is gonna be that Jack Splank dream, as you mentioned, and Vangstead, don't group in team fights, man. Just go split push, go rage split, get that nexus going down for your team.
Let's see what happens. We're looking into a team that only was defeated once so far in the summer split on the other side. Rising down almost 4-4. If they lose this one, they're completely tied up in between wins and defeats. And that means that Lightside almost secured themselves a really good first half of Summer Split. Summer Split where we're going to have promotion and also relegations, not only for Division 2, but also for Division 1, which means the bottom teams from Division 1 will fight the top teams from Division 2 to try and see if they need to swap places. One team going down division means hell for the team, and obviously a team that rises onto the Division 1, it is complete gracious, I would say. It is wonderful when we get to see those stories. Garb came in from Division 3. Can you imagine they jump into Division 1 in Summer Split? That would be the Cinderella story, I would say.
Yeah.
But enough with the story, enough with that. We need to jump into game as we're about to see Lightside versus Rising Dawn.
I mean, just talking about that really fast as well. I don't think someone's gonna get caught here. I think just looking at what's kind of possible right now. Obviously, Lundqvist sitting so comfortably on that #1 spot, and then looking at Division 1, right? Singularity obviously is still without a victory in Division 1. Could be two teams that kind of has to clash together. And I really like what Lundqvist has brought to the table in this so far in this split in Division 2. They've been having kind of good draws where they can like play for both bot and top. They have kind of versatile players, and they feel like they're just having really fun together. So going for that relegation, it's gonna be super exciting to watch, and I'm just looking forward to it, man. You're seeing a Swedish team as well, possibly in Division 1. I mean, that just gets me goosebumps already.
I was thinking, this is a really confident start for the Ezreal, coming in with the Tear of Goddess instantly. So he's going to stack this relatively fast, but you're putting yourself in jeopardy.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that he knows as well that his jungle is going to start bot side, and he doesn't really want to do anything aggressive early in the game. And he actually has a first strike as well, so it's really, as you mentioned, being really comfortable in knowing that he's not going to die, but just going to be able to stack this tier up. They're not going to have a lot of pressure in this early lane with the Ezreal and the Viego pathing away, right? So why not just start a tier, have quite a chill time, get yourself a drink as well, and just enjoy this laning phase, man.
I'm just trying to see if I can lower the settings on Parsec, so if you may continue, please, so I can try and see it better.
Yeah, no, that's alright. I think I should try to lower that as well, because I think we're having some delays at least on both of our screens, but that's alright. We're gonna fix that. Just looking at this matchup now, though, for top, I think Vang said, obviously Nasus not really being a champion in the early game. He's gonna get kind of dumpstered by BC early, and Seriana has that pressure in the lane. As I say that, I was gonna say that Moxus is gonna have a comfortable lane, but Limitless and Fine Forever, they are not really down for that. They just wanna pressure as much as possible. They know that this Ezreal has the tier. They know he is kind of not useless, obviously, but close to it. He's basically like a big cannon minion right now, and not gonna be that incisive to fight. And yeah, this is just gonna be both junglers as well, clearing from one side to another, obviously. But in a lot of these games in Division 2, I've seen that the junglers are actually kind of wanting to be like really proactive early game. But now we have two just full clearing junglers. They're gonna have the opposite sides as well. So probably not a lot of action gonna be spotted this early in the game. Looking at that though, now I would
say that's interesting, M-Test, because on one side, Viego wants to go for that late game, obviously. I know that Diana, while we get a first blood on the mid lane, Sizz, I think that was a dive coming in from Denzel because he flashed in, ignited as well, but he got paid the ultimate price. He forgot about the turret's buff and maybe got punished for that. Let's take a peek at what happened to see how this first blood occurred, as it seems like he goes in. Oh,
Yeah, that looks rough for Denzel. I mean, I respect the hustle, I respect the confidence coming in from that guy. He has really wanted that 1v1 kill, but now, when you die like this, and you have Ignite as well, and the enemy has TP, this is just gonna be kind of a disaster right now for Denzel. He has to now really wait until he gets that level 6 and he can team up with Fat RL to get something going for Sis. But as I say that, and B is going on to Vangstead as well.
it is the power. Vangsted getting so low. Still has one pot, I believe. Now he completely used every single corruption that he had to try and survive that one. Ignite, teleport for Sejuani alongside with the Grass of the Undying, and the ice is really cold. Almost takes down Nasus on the solo as well. That is really complicated for Rising Dawn at this moment.
Yeah, this is gonna not be it, right? Vangstead obviously losing both his summoners now has to TP back. It's gonna be kind of chilling with that Sheen, right? But when Bambi goes back to path to that top side, they can really look to punish when BC gets 6. Now, Fine Forever, just gonna be chilling in the mid lane, kind of wanna help his mid laner push in so he can get a free base. But Sven is here as well. Wonder if they're gonna fight. No, they're just gonna stare at each other, kind of the death stare, as you will, and look to get it. But BC, are you gonna get over? There's so much action going on actually in this early game.
Now finally we get Fed ARL on the top side, trying to get that pressure early on with the Diana. It's almost getting that level 6, and that level 6 is going to at least allow and put online the cold pressure into the mid lane with Denzel. But now that they lost the Ignite, they lost that flash as well. I mean, they robbed Ziz from his own flash, but it's going to be complicated to follow that kill. As in the bot lane, in the middle of the river, that could be a kill on the support if we may see it. Flash is still available, but it seems that Fine Forever is going to be fine for now, as he needs to recall.
Oh, Fine Forever is fine for now. I like that. You're smooth, Arshram. I respect that.
Hey, yeah.
He actually still managed to pull his flash out. I mean, flash still having up as well, so really cocky there from Fine Forever. But these are kind of the things that you can do when you're playing the Rakan. You have so much mobility. You can kind of go into that river, even if you're alone. You're probably gonna survive in most cases. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of where we're gonna get the action kind of going now, I think, when these teams are actually gonna get that juicy level 6 on Fatter and Denzel, obviously, and BC as well having that level 6 really soon. But wow, this lane for Nasus does not look good, Arsham, let me tell you that.
I've played versus the Sejuani top, and several times I would say it's really complicated to deal with because the W almost has no cooldown. It deals percentage as well, and the mana cost is really low. So if you bring the mana flow on the Sejuani, you can just spam it as much as you want. Cooldown low, mana cost low, it's constant to rest, and if you don't have any sort of sustain, even though Nasus has one, it needs to be near those minions, and he can't afford to be near those minions, because if you are, you get the W on your face.
Yeah, no, that just sounds really rough, and I guess that's why Sejuani has been popping up in this last couple of weeks as well. Just being that, obviously getting that tank for your team, but getting that CC as well with your ultimate and just being so oppressive in lane. It's looking really good, and as we see that, I mean, Vangstead just being completely zoned off from his tower, and BC kind of looks like they want to go for something here, but Vangstead just gonna be backing off. But Denzel is here as well. It's just gonna be a fight now.
There's nothing they can do right now as Vanks now is on the chase. Perfect ultimate to try and slow down Yasuo. Yasuo goes into frost mode, but gets a knockup nonetheless. And there we go. This is going to be an easy kill as they're going to use the Siphon Strike on the champion itself to get even more stacks to Nasus.
Oof. Yeah, I mean, it's good pick up there from Denzel. Just making sure that his top lane as well can be able to pick up that wave on the tower. I mean, we saw Fat RL taking that Drake for his team, and that's just kind of what allowed Bambi and BC to play that aggressive on the Radiant Dawn's top side. So it's really good move there from Denzel. He gives up one wave, sure, but that's all good and dandy when you're helping out your top lane. That's gonna scale so insanely well into the late game.
We are still in 7 minutes as Sis is getting a little bit more comfortable with that champion. We don't get to see a lot of Silas nowadays on this meta, but Silas is so bruisery and so assassin as well. Like, he's so tanky but deals so much damage. You really have to be careful when you're fighting that one.
Yeah, I think it's just also one of these picks as well that, as you mentioned, we haven't seen that for quite some time. And when you pick this as well in a competitive game, you're kind of letting your enemy know that if they don't have that insane knowledge of the champion too, they don't know the damage, right? And Sis, I mean, I was just super surprised to see him doing that much damage to Fine Forever in that earlier exchange as well, and he was kind of one-tapping him. So it's gonna be really exciting to see Sis because, as you mentioned too, you kind of have to skirmish on this champion. If you don't, you're just gonna be useless. So now when Sis is getting some levels under his belt, getting that book as well, he's just gonna be it's gonna be down to fight, and that's the thing about Radiant Dawn comp as well, right? They also wanna fight, so I'm sure that we have 9 minutes in the game currently, and we have seen 2 kills only. But I'm sure when we get to like 10-12 minutes mark, these teams are gonna clash.
63 farm for the top side versus 48 for Nasus. Almost getting the solo kill, but not getting that kill means that BZ is not that far ahead of Lundqvist. And we're talking about a Nasus. When he gets into late game, it's going to be powerful regardless of what happens. There we go. Siphon Strike now gets a chunk out of that Sejuani. And we need to remind ourselves that Spirit Fire, the E from the Nasus, removes armor on all of those who are top on it. I don't know what sort of level that he has. I think he's maxing Q and then Spirit Fire. So far, only one level on each. I would like to see at level 8 what he's going to do. Spirit Fire now at 25 armor percentage. If you go into 5 levels. Oh, thank you so much. I was going to say it, but thank you so much for showcasing this. It's 45% of your armor if you stay on top of it. And even though Sejuani is so tanky with the passive, 45% is 45%.
Yeah, I mean, that's just so much, right? Even it doesn't really matter if you're Malphite, if you're Rammus, or if you're just playing Fiora as well with almost no armor as well, right? I think when Lundqvist gets this Divine Thunder under his belt as well, he's really gonna be able to actually start this lane quite comfortably. He has been struggling a bit, but that's just to be expected when you're playing this Nasus. And I think Lundqvist Lightside hasn't been able to punish him as much as they would have liked, right? And when he's gonna get a Divine Thunder, hopefully on next phase, he's really gonna start to take over this lane from what I know, right? I haven't seen Nasus in quite some time. I only see like one Trix play it, but a really respectable pick from Lundqvist. I really like when we see these hovers in the Champion Select, and we think this is not gonna be picked, it's just a stroll, but then they actually lock it in. Man, I live for this.
We keep talking about it. How good it is to bring your own champions. Good engage alongside with the last prep, but I do believe this is going to be the last prep from Denzel as Sejuani approaches. It's a massive Vogel combo with a lot of CC on top of it. And Lightside is just eating dessert as the entire team of Rising Dawn in the mid lane are going to be collapsed upon. Limitless also falls in the end. Only Baxter comes in with the teleport, with the flash, with the wither. But this is a perfect hostile takeover to buy enough time to allow the mid laner to shine and take back what it was once his.
Wow, such a good fighter from Lundqvist. They just go with it, right? I mean, Radiant Dawn, they were the ones that engaged in that fight, but Lundqvist Lightside, they were right up there. They were every single one of them were in the mid lane. BC came as well with the Sejuani, and I mean, Lundqvist joined late in that fight, but he's playing Nasus, man. You're not gonna be able to impact that fight when your whole team is already dead. And this was what we've been so impressed with Lundqvist, right? They're not scared to play proactive on their terms, but they're also not scared to like really punish when they see that the enemy is making a play or making like an obvious mistake. I think in this one, it was so close. Radiant Dawn, they could have won that fight if they played it a bit better, but Lundqvist Lightside now gonna sit so comfortable on this 1.5k lead, and now when this Drake is coming up, I would be really surprised if Radiant Dawn decides to fight this one.
12 minutes in, it's going to be the second Drake, so this is now one of those fast-paced games where you do get to see the soul really early on, and you get the Elder Flip. I mean, we know that this is part of the game now, the Elder Flip.
Yeah.
It seems this is going to be the second one. It's going for Lightside as well. Busy, trying to get the engage in the mid lane for Denzel, but there's no follow-up. Salah's going to go there and apply the melee as well. And if you look into Silas, you look Sejuani, even Viego, we're talking about 3 members that can proc the passive from Sejuani really fast. And then you can get the Permafrost on almost every single target. This was
okay,
an interesting Geralt.
Yeah, I think it was just quite some mistake from Lundqvist. They kind of didn't, I think they didn't realize in time that wave was actually gonna hit in mid. I think if it's only the no minions there, obviously the Herald is gonna hit, but I mean, good pickup from Radiant Dawn to realize that as well, and getting that Herald, because that was actually really crucial. If they would have gotten that mid tower, that means that on the next Herald, they can for sure just open the map really hard with that mid tier 1. And yeah, as you mentioned about the Sejuani, right? Obviously you want to pair this champion up with immediate champions. And just having 2 million champions on the top side as well with you, so to make sure that it doesn't matter if you go top or mid, you're gonna be able to proc that passive, and it's gonna be really hard for the enemy to fight back. As we see now, Lundqvist Lightside is pushing Radiant Dawn out of their own jungle.
I just find it weird that BZ went straight up for the Executioner's Calling instead of the Brumble's Vest. That's an engage on top of Fatty Irel. He doesn't have a lot of space or even time to move. Yasuo tries to do any single sort of help that he can bring as Nasus is running as fast as possible. His ultimate is available, but his teammates are not, because the double kill comes in. It is his reset city coming in for Viego. The triple is dead. He can get another soul as he goes on top of Nasus, but it seems like he wants to use his own body to take that kill. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. It is the hostile takeover takes it in Limitless and allows this to go on rampage right now. 9-3 Lightside stomping right now versus Rising Dawn.
It's just Lundqvist Lightside written all over the rift right now. They just take every single fight that they see and they are not scared. When once Bombay gets that first reset, it's just impossible for Dawn to fight back. And Dawn, in their comp, they want to get that one shot instantly before the fight even begins with that Diana Yasuo combo. But Lundqvist Lightside has the Renata as well, and they have so much time to buy it for themselves. And after they don't get that one shot, it's just gonna be really rough. And speaking of rough, I mean, Vangstead, my boy, you're just gonna be dead, man.
There's no ultimates, but also there's no reset. So in the end, it's going to be 1-for-1. They cannot push the turret as well. But that replay needs to be analyzed so we will understand how hard Viego went in this team fight.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't hesitate, right? They see the Diana without flash, they just insta go for it. And even though they get a 2-man knockup with Denzel, it's just they don't really have enough damage right now without the Diana, right? You were talking about how the Diana is being the only AP in their team, and that's really good for Diana, right? But if you're behind and you get one tap like this in the fight, you're just gonna have 80 damage left. And obviously we see the double like plated steel caps on the Viego, on the Silas as well. So they're gonna be really tanky with that 80 damage. And yeah, I mean, Lundqvist Lightside now, we are 50 minutes in. I talked about how 12 minutes, we're gonna see a lot of fights, and now it's like a 5k goal lead already for Lundqvist. Man, these guys are cracked.
It is 15 minutes in. With that amount of lead, it's going to be really difficult to try and come back. So they need Vangstead to get that split push we've talked before. But in order to do that, he needs to put himself in that position. The rest of the team needs to prepare the map, get some vision, track of the enemies, get some track of the enemy, because if they don't, they collapse onto Vangstead and they lose not only a laner, but also some sort of objectives. Now that we're talking about objectives, we do have access to that Rift Herald that is going to be controlled by Lightside. Another objective for them. Let's see if this one is going to crash into the turret, or if they're going to fail it again.
Yeah. I really hope they don't make that mistake again. It's a really easy one to fix. Just look at your minimap as I say that. I'm looking at the minimap. Limitless actually gonna be able to survive that. Never mind, I jinxed it. Sorry, Limitless. You're gonna go down to that ultimate from Moxox. I mean, good snipe from him. But yeah, they're actually gonna put the Herald down instantly. And I think this is
not
no
enough.
Way.
They need a little bit more damage on the turret to take down the T1. There you go.
Yeah.
The second time they invest themselves on a T1 and it just doesn't work.
Yeah, they're gonna be not actually able to go for that tower without that wave. Fatrel actually clearing that out, dodging away with his Hextech Proto Belt. Really respectable there. I was kind of looking at what Dawn has to do, right? You were talking about how they have to set up Vangstead on the side lane. And this is just the thing that is so hard when you're this behind, is that you don't really have a prio lane. The only one that could reliably get to some sort of prio is Vangstead, right? But if Vangstead is playing without mid prio, without bot prio as well, he's just gonna get punished when he tries to push a top lane. And this is like the only case where he can actually push a top safely, because he knows that Lundqvist Lightside, they're just gonna go for that scaling, baby. Go for that second Drake of their own. And yeah, we're gonna see an early Elder here, as you promised me, Arshrom.
No, I was saying the opposite. I think this is not going to be an early one. Early one should be like 23 minutes, and they're only on 2 dragons right now for one team. If it was Lightside with the first one, I would say that would be in their Elder Dragon. We've seen games being rushed towards that Elder Dragon, but the control that Rising Dawn got in the first one, maybe it's like a bandage on the bleed they have currently made by Lightside. They're controlling the entire map. They just need time. They just need to stack as much as they can and get into that late game. I was talking about before that big fight that Executioner's calling on Sejuani, to me, is kind of weird due to the fact that everybody that has to stain has to slap you. So Bramble Vast would be such a good item, but he decides to go for the execution. He wants to be the one proccing it. He doesn't want someone to proc it for him. Like, nah, I'm going to be the one proccing executioners. Hey,
Yeah, I mean, I can respect that. I hope that's the reason, right? Because then it just means that BC, despite picking a tank for his team, has some sort of ego, which is nice to see. He has to proc that executioner, right? I think it's. I kind of have to agree with you. I think it's a weird item overall because sure you wanna like give Nasus some sort of healing reduction, right? Or like not being able to heal as much, but I mean, you're not gonna be able to win the side in over Nasus anyway. You're just gonna wanna be able to group with your team, and then the Bramble West, as you mentioned, probably a better item. Maybe BC goes back and watches this broadcast after the game, and he thinks that we're gonna praise him by saying that, oh, this Sajani man, this is so smart pick. This guy's popping off, hitting so many good ultis, and then we're just flaming him for his item choice. Hey BC, we love you, man. But yeah, Bramble West, I think this game for sure a better one.
And even if you don't want to go for the Bramble, I would say Oblivion would be interesting as well because you can proc it with a W alongside with the ultimate. And cool enough, if you use the ultimate on like 3 to 4 members, it's almost the same as buying Executioners on Gangplank, which activates with his ultimate. So it's a way to proc on multiple members. Maybe I'm wrong, BZ. I mean, you prove me wrong, man. I was a player back in the day. I'm no longer a player for a reason, so I believe in all the players that do whatever they want. I believe in them. I don't care. I'm really bad nowadays, so yeah. I'm a Phantom man. You cannot trust my word.
Yeah, we are two washed up casters. That is for sure. So hey, BC.
Wait, washed up casters as well? It's
no,
not only
no,
washed up player, now we washed up casters. Your career just started, man.
I went a bit too far that one.
What is your main though? If you had to decide which champion would be your main?
Ooh. I would say that after, depends if it ulti hits or not.
Nice hostile takeover, brings only Ferry back to his own team. He was angry, possessed at the time to try and beat up on his own friends, and then realizes, oh, I was actually saving myself by running to you, so thank you for doing what he did.
I think, speaking of favorite champions, I think I never really had a one trick. I really loved when Vayne was meta back in the day, and that champion has been really bad for like such a long time. I really love to play.
Let it be that way, okay? Let it be that way.
Yeah, that is fair. I wished I had like a champion that was just I never got bored of playing. Like I remember Lucian was super fun back in like season 6. I spammed that. But wait, that is another snipe though from Moxos. This guy is actually popping off with his ultimates.
He's playing Katarina with a magical sense, with a true shot barrage, getting access to those snaps on the back line. Another kill coming in for Limitless. I mean, I think we're starting to see some limits. Cannot get to play this game alongside with Denzel. They have been in distress as well. I mean, what do you mean? 12-4 at this point. Lightside with 20 minutes in. They're controlling the map. It's kind of difficult to roam across. If you look at the vision, they do have some sort of line in the jungle. You can see like a red line of vision. But it's so defensive that you cannot approach the mid part of the map, and that's exactly where the fights are occurring.
Yeah, it's like a sling of Christmas lights, you know, the red one. And not sure if that's gonna be enough. Maybe this is gonna be enough for BC though. He has no flash. He's gonna be taken down.
Doesn't have flash, gets the frozen status, but there you go. Ferry alongside with his partner. Denzel goes in for the kill, and curiously enough, 30 seconds for the Dragon. They get themselves the bounty, and there's no punishment on the other side as well, Test.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just gonna go on the same side now. Bambi has the flash, but it's gonna be the TP. We're actually gonna see an explosive fight here for sure. This could be it for Edeton.
Lundqvist is trying to join the fight as the handshake is going to at least slow down this aggressiveness. Another TP comes in, but it's not a TP from Sejuani because she's still dead. This is a 4v5, turns into a 4v4 as Tiz comes in the middle of the team fight, and he gets everybody. Hostile takeover goes against the wind wall, he gets spread across in the wind, but in the wind goes Zaya the bird as the double kill comes in clean for the Ezreal. Handshake again, pushes the two-shot barrage, and for the first time it doesn't connect, but again, this is Lightside lighting up the map, going for 15 kills so early, and Tiz has a mission, has only one goal, and that is just to body on the enemies as he becomes unstoppable. Lundqvist is alone, getting those stacks, getting the wither as well. He bumps the enemy, and it's enough. The sustain is there, but here comes Sejuani with a revenge play, and finally gets the team almost an ace, as the only survivor is the moon that is looking upon the ground as they're going in for the Mountain Drake.
Man, Lundqvist has no remorse for human life in this game. They're just really bopping right down. They're diving them between towers, man. They don't care. They're gonna get the Drake as well. And even though Lightside got 2 shutdowns there of like 750 gold apiece, I think Lundqvist Lightside is gonna be really comfortable with this one. They're gonna pick up that. They're gonna be on soul point now, and they really wanna just play for this national and take it like a bit comfortable. But I mean, I just love this. Is what I love watching Div 2. These guys, when they pop off, they actually just pop off completely. Here we see Lundqvist. They are in that 5v4 fight, right? It's not like this is actually Radiant's Dawn's chance to come back into the game. Fatirel gets absolutely one-tapped by Sis and Moxox, and after that's just Sis show, right? He gets the double root with that Everfrost, and while that Sweden's ultimate got really denied there by Dance's Windwall, it was not enough from Radiant Dawn. They just go between the towers, as I mentioned, and I mean, they just don't care, man.
Another team fight approaches on the top side, and only one check, by the way, in test. Rising Dawn. Not Radiant. Rising
I said
Dawn.
Radiant again?
Yeah, it happens, my man. It happens. We got you. We got you. Just a cross check for everybody at home. They're trying to rise on this game as well, 17-7. But it seems like Lightside has the control so far. No vision on the Baron. It seems like they have to take this one face to face. Denzel is alone, flashes away from the Heartbreaker, but here comes a hostile takeover in the middle of the last breath, and that's exactly what Yasu does. The last breath as the double kill comes in clean for Ezreal. Mostox is just on the hunt, on the prey, is looking for more, but meanwhile almost getting the 20 mark on the scoreboard. They're going to get access to the Baron right now, 19-7, 6,000 gold lead. This is a massive, massive game coming in for Lightside.
Yeah, and this is just something that we kind of grown used to know Lundqvist Lightside for, right? They're just so dominant in almost every game that they play. And when I talked about this as well, once they go online, they never go offline. They just stay available at 24/7, and they're just really down to fight whenever, right? And whether you're playing a comp like this as well, you're playing the Silas, you're playing the Viego with the Sejan as well, you just have so many ways to proc that passive. And I feel like MBC, this guy has not been, he's not had one reason to be scared this game as well. When he's just grouped up with his team, he can just do whatever he feel like, and Bambi and Sis, you know that they're gonna be able to follow up, get that one shot, get that reset onto Bambi, who is, by the way, level 15, just 25 minutes into the game. That's quite nice. Same for Sis. I mean, Lucas Lightside, this just, they're so comfortable playing like this, right?
Bankstead has access to 3 items. This could be enough to put him on that split push position, but now he's not split pushing, he's just running away. 4 members versus 1. He doesn't have the tankiness required to just survive a little bit longer. Give enough time to his teammates to approach. And this means it's going to be a 4v5 with a Baron push as well. This is a Baron power play. The minions are possessed to try and wrap this up with 25 minutes in, almost 26. We're talking about 27 kills at the total of the scoreboard as well, as the first inhibitor is going to collapse in favor of Lightside. And look at the curse that Sis is bringing in. The way that Ezreal is playing as well with all that aggressiveness. The turrets are just being shipped away.
Ooh,
and this is the perfect ultimate. This is the combo. Do we have in the follow? The hostile takeover is not there because it dies in the process. They try to slow down the bleeding, but it seems that Ezreal doesn't care about that. He's putting alcohol on the blood, and he's still looking for more as he goes in with the Mystic shot. I wouldn't call that a mystic. That is a certain shot. He goes for the Arcane Shift as well as Bungstead finally rejoins the team. Finally, do we have the Nasus unleashed? It doesn't seem so because the slow is just way too much. TP into the backline. He's looking for it. He's looking for the Ezreal. But that's a perfect freeze. He opens the freezer and everybody goes low. One more hit should be enough as he goes in. Goes mental. But it's not enough as Sis is going to pick up the killing spree right now as they look in to close up the game and test.
Yeah, I mean, wow, what a fight. I mean, I'm gonna give you some time to breathe on that one. They've been fighting non-stop for 90 seconds. I thought that Lundqvist was gonna actually go for that finish there with the national that he still had, but they're just gonna let go of Rising Dawn, and they're gonna be able to breathe for a bit, same as you. But I mean, what is this, by the way? Like, Lundqvist Lightside, they just don't test it once again. They're sitting comfortable at a 10k gold lead, and just kind of impressed by Rising Dawn though to actually manage to fight back. Lightside actually didn't quite manage to pick up the kills that he wanted with that TP flank, but just the fact that Rising Dawn just able to make sure that Lundqvist Lightside didn't end on that push is impressive in itself. Speaking of impressive, though, I mean Lundqvist and BC rather is on the flank with Sajani. It's gonna go in again.
Oh, so well positioned. They look for the easy kill on that point. Find forever, find for now. As I said before, is he just running away? Does he have enough time? Looking into the minions, get the grand interest to shot. Barrage just comes in close on the feathers, but it seems like the bird is flying high right now. But they need to fly a little bit closer to the dragon. This could be the soul, the mountain soul as well. We're talking about a team that has difficulties dying. So with the soul on top of that, an additional shield on top of a Sejuani that has a Fumble Winter, that has that passive as well, how can you even kill BZ?
Yeah, I mean it's rough to say the least, right? It's just super hard for Rising Dawn. They just have to really, yeah, that's what I do, man. That's what I do. I think in a good scenario, Mindset could get the split push going, but obviously Lundqvist Lightside not gonna allow that this game. They have 2 inhibs down, Rising Dawn already, and this just has to be the it, right?
This should be it. The wind wall is going to block. No, it doesn't block the hostile takeover. This buys them enough time. Vengst is trying to heal as much as he can. He hold on for a long time, but there's no damage on the back line. We talked about that. They're way too tanky, and the damage that Mashox is bringing to the team fight is disgusting as the Ezreal is on top of this game. 26 kills to 10, gets himself an additional triple kill to wrap up the entire game as the last turret is just looking at the minions, but they're looking for the price, looking for Denzel, looking for the Asu, and they get yet another one. It's a clean ace, it's a clean game, and it's a clean first position coming in for Lightside on Division 2 so far in the summer split, Division 2 2022.
Super impressive from Lundqvist. I mean, this is just what we come to expect from them, right? They're playing super consistent. They can play through top, they can play for jungle, mid, bot. They can kind of do whatever they want, and it is what really is surprising me because last split rather, when I casted Division 2, I was kind of flaming teams, knowing like kind of not identifying their win condition, and also just kind of playing the cross swaps, right? I talked a lot about this, but seeing Lundqvist that now they do both of them, I feel like a proud dad, like for the first time in my life. Actually, it's nice to see.
You're still young. You'll get more moments of that, I hope. I at least hope so. Really clean coming in from Lightside. It's not that Rising Dawn didn't do enough. It's just that Lightside kept doing so much in the game and they never stopped on the pedal. And people keep talking about it. I mean, I've heard casters talk about this and I'm going to flame them. I'm so sorry. People are complaining about the durability patch that it makes you immortal. You cannot dive turrets as well. Nah, you're completely wrong. If you put the pedal to the metal, it's not that big of a deal. Obviously, it helps a lot, but we see constantly of teams that are aware of how the patch should be played, like Lightside did. They never stop pressuring, and even though there's a durability patch, it's a durability patch for both sides. So this only means that you're tankier and you can go for more plays, and this is exactly what they're doing. Lightside are looking really clean at first place, and this is why we're going to talk with them just right after this break. I'll see you soon. Don't go anywhere.